Hello, hello, I'm LeatherMushroom, your hostess with the mostest, and today we are taking a look at the early access of Blood West. And Blood West comes from Hyperstrange, who are a Polish dev company who started out in 2015. They brought us such titles as Elderborn, which by the way I really enjoyed Elderborn a lot. It gave me a lot of pleasure. I cannot even emphasise more on that. They also brought us Crossbow Blood Knight, which as you know is more of a points-based arena shooter, in the same vein as Devil Daggers, and you can kind of see that it's a bit of a hat tip to it. But back to this, Blood West is, well, it's kind of in the title really. It takes a massive influence from Blood and the Wild West, but in all seriousness, it's a stealth FPS. You know, it's taken the influences from Stalker, System Shock, Deus Ex, Thief, obviously to say Blood, and also Hunt Showdown. You get a massive Hunt Showdown feel from this, especially I find in the enemies. You know, there's really got that influence in there. And the blood part comes from, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, so you're just going to have to come in and see. So grab your tea, grab your toast, let's get cozy, and let's take a good old look at Blood West. Now we start, and the first weapon you find, axe. Now I love a game that starts with an axe. It's just a beautiful thing. Now this is a stealth game, so sneaking is it's kind of required. You know, you have to. It's not. If you try and run and gun this, it is going to punish you. Stealth, it's based on the enemy's sight line and obviously on their hearing. Now here you can see we can see going for a nice little hit, and you can see how much damage they're doing with just a couple of melee hits. And the animated dead are the first monsters you find, so you know it's important.
Search for the evil lurking in this world.
The totems, they are voice acted fantastically. Really good. And I really like how you've got the lovely pixel graphic there, but the eyes are just perfectly, just gorgeous blue piercing light sources. The shaman, he has a lovely voice. I really appreciate his voice. Just a really nice tone, but he's telling us that we need to go and take a packet to one of the burial grounds of his people to help them rest. We're going to do that. Now, the skill tree here, nice skill tree, nice, simple. You've got melee, range, vitality, and ranger. I'm going for Invisible Man because it's a stealth FPS. I guess you could tank skills straight into firearms and into melee straight away, but there's going to be a lot of situations in this game where you can't do that. And you got to love the sound of this axe. It's just an absolute perfection in that. So there we go, we've finished the mission that the shaman gave to us. Oh, a little bit of secret loot. You're going to learn more about that later. And these guys are the miners. They are very hard, armed with pickaxes, but they do seem to spot you from further away than the other enemies do. Which could be because they have a headlamp. They're a miner. I don't know, maybe I'm looking into it too much. But here we get our little 6-shooter, rooty-tooty point-and-shooty, as I like to call it. And the feel of it, they feel really great to fire. And the headshots are very satisfying, you know, when you actually pull them off. Which I've seen some people complain that, you know, like hit detection isn't on point, but I haven't really experienced too many problems with it myself. Now I love the reload animation. Look at that reload, there's just a single bullet at a time. The classic, you know, anti-clockwise barrel spin. You know, these very like almost lost soul looking enemies. I'm going to avoid them because I'm a massive wuss. Now, with this many enemies around, you do well to, you know, stay in that stealth. You really need to. You know, it's 2, maybe even 3 you can take on, but this many, no.
Come here.
Luckily, the AI isn't the smartest. Now, they do chase you. They do chase you until you properly hide either above or below, so crawlable passages, etc. This is one of the first areas. This is the mines. You know, and the exit to it, which I think is a really nice part. You've got, you know, lots of verticality to go in for as well, and we're being spat at by the human pede, or what I like to call the spitty bastard. Every game has to have a spitty bastard, and this is no exception. I really enjoyed actually killing it. It's really good fun. Trading with the old Jim Hooper here. You can see obviously on the left his inventory. You know, you get your shotguns, your Winchesters, etc. We aren't going to get any of those just yet because that costs money. But from the enemies, you scavenge parts from like teeth, you know, acid glands, and obviously the loot from around the game, which is really important because nothing in life is free. It's going to cost you. So you can actually get a skill quite early on where every monster corpse will have something lootable on it, which I honestly think is a really good, especially in a game where buying things is expensive. You want to be getting as much of that sweet enemy drop loot as you can. Now, time to learn about death. Not very nice. Now, he killed me in a few hits. And that's just one-on-one. Now, mostly that's how inept I am. You know, that's my ability. That's not a reflection on the difficulty of the game. It's more looting, more stabbing. There's a lot of looting and stabbing, but it's really helpful just to look similar to how you would in, as I say, Blood or Doom. You look for those little secret areas. There aren't really many secret areas in that respect here. It's just winding paths. So you need to look up and down behind stuff, the usual. You know, but those valuables are worth it, especially for the health items you find. Now here, you at the little camps you pass, which are a bonfire and a bed, you have a stash, and I would suggest you hoard those health items like the dirty little hoarder you are. I mean, it's all what we need to do. Now, one of my favourite enemy types in this so far, the Birdman. That's not me making up a joke. Its name is Birdman, and they make these horrendous noises and shoot at you. The shots are fairly accurate, and from what I can tell, once you've killed them, depending on how many shots off they got on you, depends on how much ammunition they have. He got quite a few shots off, he has none. But this guy here got no shots off, and he has 4 in the revolver. So, like I say, that could be a on-purpose thing, could be not. Now, this is one of my favourite weapon combos in it, because you primary secondary. You know, the sawn-off shotgun. Now, you get rusty shotguns and standard ones. Always try your best to find the ones, because the rusty ones, they have less damage and worse range. Now, here's me doing a bit of a cheeky hide and reload, as we've got what I like to call the Birdman Flappy Bastards. A couple of shots. Now, you'll see there it flashed up at the bottom of the screen. It involves you're only doing mid-range damage. So, really, running in for the headshot with a knife is kind of, you know, probably the best thing. Here you see you got accessory slots, health items, throwables, etc., and artifacts. These stop you from getting things like curses, give you stamina boosts, etc. But let's go on to the bow and arrow. I love how the bow and arrows have been implemented here. And like I say, I know people have said bad hit detection, but I would also say my terrible aiming, so I can't really comment on that. But it's really satisfying when you pull off a solid headshot with the bow and you hear his commentary. Now the saloon girl lady of the night, we can think of many names. Now they do have an armoured mask on, which, as you can see, makes them rather impervious to headshots. You have to be careful. And yes, they carry a shotgun. Now you'll see there that little golden relic at the bottom left has gone now. That's because every time you die, you get 3 deaths and you get a curse. Equipping these little golden relics prevent you from the progression towards that curse. Now, what's the effective of throwables? With a Molotov, which is, you know, a classic throwable. There's a nice bit of setting everything on fire and alerting everybody in the world to your presence. And onto the lovely repeating Winchester rifle, which that might look like I'm a good shot, but you know, that took a while of footage to get a little set like that. Reloads perfectly. Single bullets one at a time, but obviously it holds 15 rounds, so you really have to be careful on your ammo count. And I love here how they've done the armored variant of just the basic enemy. The armor on it is the coffin it rose out the ground with. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just that. So then, stab for the arms and legs. Job done. Now, you can unload. So every time you pick up a gun, you can right-click and then you click that little tab and unload it, which is very helpful because you don't want to be selling the bullets, just the guns. And finally, you can sleep to get your health back. And that has been Blood West. It's currently on Steam. I think it's retailing for somewhere in the region of about $15. So I'm going to leave links in the description below. I'll leave the links for the people over at Hyperstrange, and seriously, go and buy it. It scratches so many itches. It scratches the stealth itch, the FPS itch, the hunt showdown itch. It even scratches that solid Caleb voice acting style itch. It even scratches itches you don't know yourself that you have. So go and buy it. And as always, please consider subscribing and liking to the channel. It helps me keep bringing out this content and improving my skills and getting better and better to do the best. I stream on Twitch every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and YouTube content goes up every Wednesday. And with that, I've been LeatherMushroom, your hostess with the mostest, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.